Good morning. You're not on the wrong channel. It's the right one. We are just trying to do something and to improve. So please give us a feedback about this. So it's a new day. It's a Monday.
Nice stuff. They like it.
Yes. Bravo.
Barbara, I think we can hear ourselves. Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Great. I don't mind to hear myself. It's nice voice.
You like it.
How do you feel? It was Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it was the birthday of Krasimir.
It was birthday of Barbara, Tatiana, me. Today Steve Church have a birthday. This group, guys, is full with Gemini. Oh my God! It's like we create a special group for special people.
It's like you cannot escape,
Mary, if you hear us, we apologize. We love you. We are Gemini, and we even love you more.
So it's a new week, right? We had this first I am enough. Then we had everything is available to me, and this week we will be talking about taking inspired action and having consistency in it.
And one of your topic for the week is to buy shoes Nike. Just do it. Okay, I'm joking about this, but yes, the shoes Nike make miracle.
So should we go to Barbara?
Of course, my love.
Okay. So this morning. This morning we have Barbara, and she will talk to us about 1, 2, 3 action and how to keep the momentum going.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you guys this morning?
We are great, thank you.
So this is perfect. This new introduction that you created for the global morning community really goes well with what we're going to be talking about today. So, we just had a little bit of a review of what we did the last 2 weeks, and now we're really taking the goals and the intentions and the things that we've been working on, and we're looking to move into action. And probably a few of you have already been taking action, and we want to support you, and we want to give you some tips, and so that you can really maximize this part of the process. Because when we don't take action, it's going to be unlikely that we're going to fulfill on our goals. So think about it. If I want to buy a new car, I can sit in my bedroom and I can dream about it, and I can say affirmations, and I can have wishful thinking, and I can have money in the bank. But really, I still need to go out and purchase the car, because the car is most likely not going to come into my bedroom. So I want to do a little bit of a review, and then I want to talk about all the things that we can do in order to keep the momentum and keep you fully engaged. So let's look at it. Let's take a moment to look at action. So action is really a catch-all term for moving things forward. I know Offer has been talking about stepping outside our comfort zone. And when we step outside the comfort zone, there's always an action involved. If we want to fulfill on our goals, and also this is a byproduct of taking action. If you want to deepen the learning, if you want to have a richer experience, there's always action involved. So what is action? Action, there's, the way I look at it, there's kind of 4 kinds of action. The first one, I am actively doing something. I am, let's say I am exercising, or I am getting up earlier, or I am having, there's a task that I need to fulfill on, and I'm doing it. So I'm actively doing something. The second thing is I stop doing something. Okay, so if I'm on a diet, for instance, I stop eating chocolate, or I stop having negative thoughts, or I stop complaining about my life. So there's the active part, and then there's the sort of like the passive part of where I stop doing something. And a lot of times people don't look at this as that's action, but that is actually also action. Okay. So we have those outward activities, and then we have the inward activities, internal. I'm taking internal action. And an internal action, I kind of just gave it away. Internal action could be I am saying my affirmation, or I am loving myself, or I'm doing gratitude. That's an internal action of where I'm actively working on changing something inside of me, right? And I talked about the neuroplasticity, and I think Staviana talks about this as well, and where the neuroplasticity is kind of the part that we can measure, and we measure change. And every time that we have a positive thought or we have a positive action, it makes an imprint, and vice versa. So internal action is affirmation, changing the way I look at things, and affirming where it is that I want to go. And then there is external action of where I'm actually, that what I just said, I'm actually doing something. So what is very important when I look at taking action is that I measure my progress. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do it. We can measure it every day. We can measure it every week. We can look at the months. And I want to evaluate, because how do I know that the action that I'm actually taking is working? Let's say I'm on a diet and I'm exercising 5 days a week and I'm watching my diet, but I'm not really losing weight. So maybe there's something else that I need to be doing. And only if I keep track of it and then if I evaluate it, will I be able to successfully reach my goals. So I'm going to come back to this, but for a moment, I want to talk a little bit about sort of like the big elephant in the room. And the big elephant is the room is like, how do I actually get myself motivated, or how do I keep the momentum going? Because, maybe I am, starting and I'm doing this for 3 days, and then, I just don't feel like it anymore and I stop. So we often joke around, and inside we say, diet start on Monday morning. Monday morning, I start my diet. And when do they finish? Sunday night. By Sunday night, I've already decided I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, so I'm going to give you 13 tips, ideas to support you with keeping the momentum and fulfilling on your action steps. So the first one has to do with all the things that we talked about last week. And I'm going to encourage you to review some of the videos, some of the lectures that we had, because repetition is key. There's no way that you're going to listen to something, that's for all of us, and you're going to get all the learnings. Many times we just have to hear this stuff over and over again. And we had a call yesterday amongst ourselves, and we actually talked a little bit about that. It's so great that we have all these different methodologies, because maybe for some of you, this particular methodology works, and for somebody else, a different methodology works. And so you want to listen to it over and over, and so that you can actually really get into it and apply it to the best of your ability. So we want to have a reasonable goal. Remember, 50% believable, with a strong intention and strong emotional connection. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean, when you make your goal and you think about the goal, and you might actually want to review them a little bit today, that really the goal is 50% believable, meaning if I tell myself I'm going to lose 10 kilos by next week, it's completely unrealistic. Or if I have a money goal, or if I have an internal goal. Like, one of the things I'm working on right now is I really want to leave everybody feeling better than I found them. And so that requires me to be very, very specific with how I'm thinking about people. So, if I have a complaint about somebody, or if I got my feelings hurt, or there was some resentment that I have towards somebody, that I take a moment to resolve that inside myself, so that I don't talk badly about them, or that I bring that negativity to somebody, but that I really think about how can I serve the people that I'm with, and so that I can leave them feeling better than I found them. So, and when I created this goal for myself, I thought that it would be kind of easy to do. And I thought, okay, from now on, I'm going to be this way. And then I realized, as I was tracking it, that it wasn't so easy, that I really had to do some practice and trial and error and switch it in my head. And so now, I have a weekly goal of how often I like to experience myself, uh, in that day. And then I track it and I see how I did and what do I need to adjust. So all to say is that the goal needs to be realistic, and that you want to make sure that it fits with your intention, and that um, that there's no competition. So if I have a goal of working 24 hours a day, and I also have a goal of getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to have a hard time fulfilling on those goals because one is in competition with the other. So it's very important that you have the setup, done well, and so that it will be easy for you to take the action. Okay, let's see. Get an accountability partner. Get somebody from the global morning community who can support you, can assist you, who can clap you on and tell you how great you are. It's wonderful when we have exercise buddies. It's the same for everybody else and all the other goals that we have. We want to find an accountability partner. I think we have buddies. Some of you have buddies. If you haven't used your buddy, start using your buddy. Call them and ask them what's going on and what are you doing to fulfill on your goal, and can you please hold me accountable. Sometimes I say to my coaching clients, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to do this exercise, and at the end of the day, send me a WhatsApp and tell me that it's done. And there's a little extra push because now, in addition to them committing to themselves, they also committed to me. Get a coach, get a mentor. So all that really helps us to know that there's somebody else out there that cares, that wants to make sure that you accomplish your goals. Track your progress. Number 3, track your progress. You can do it with an app. A few people on the morning community, I know you guys are using this because you told me about it. There's this app called Habit. I add my goals, my action steps in there, and then I track how did I do. How often did I go to bed by midnight? How many times did I go to bed by 11? How often did I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And so that I can see that the goal, that my actions, was my goal appropriate, and how often was I able to take action on it. Reward yourself. I think this is super important. And when we have kids, that most of you know that I have a 4.5-year-old son. I like to reward him, and not necessarily with things. Could be rewarding with kind words, or could be rewarding them in other ways. But we want to reward ourselves. So I think about what is it that I'm going to maybe do for myself, or give myself if I am taking action on this particular goal, let's say for 30 days in a row. And I want to have a reward that's not usually something that I would give to myself. Again, when I suggest this to my coaching clients, sometimes they say, well, maybe I can get a manicure, or I can get a massage. And then the question will always be, is that something that you usually do? You reward yourself with that. And if it's not, think about something special, and it doesn't have to be something big. It could be, I'm sitting down and I'm taking an hour to talk with my mom, because I want to, and that's kind of a gift to myself. Number 7, vice versa, and this does not work for everybody. So you want to check in with yourself. You might want to assign consequences to yourself. It's a little bit like the stick and the carrot. If you are not taking action on your not taking actions on your goal, what is the negative consequence that you would like to assign to yourself? And it's not meant to necessarily be something painful or something that will make you suffer, but oftentimes we are still in the habit of motivating ourselves by avoidance. And so, oftentimes I will look in the sink and I will see the dishes and I will say, well, I better do them now than later because I might as well get it over with. And so look at it like that if you are not taking action, that there's something like a negative consequence. And it's not just, like if I'm losing weight, it's not like a consequence of, you are, you're going to gain weight or something like that. It's got to be a different consequence that actually has some impact on you. Number 8, use affirmation, vision boards, ideal scene. Last week, Offa talked about ideal scenes. I think and we talked about vision boards or treasure maps. There's different words. It's super important that you can see your goal. So I used to have various treasure maps, and I remember when I lived in the United States, and it seemed impossible for me to get a green card. I just think, it seemed it was like a mountain that I couldn't climb. And I created a treasure map. I asked a friend if they had a green card, and I photocopied it, and it became the background for my vision board. And then I put all kinds of other things on there that I wanted to, including symbols that symbolize taking action for me. So make it visual so that you can have your affirmations. I have my affirmation on my whiteboard. I'm looking at them as I speak to you. And ideal scenes is something that comes from the University of Santa Monica. Offa talked about it when he explained it to you last week with making actions. Writing the statements in the I am. I'm losing 30 pounds, or writing them down that way. So be very, very visual, because again, that helps different parts of your consciousness to become alive. Number 9, see yourself having crossed the finish line. So when we talk about sports, we know that most athletes, especially the professional athletes, they use this to see themselves. They feel, they sense, what is it like when I'm crossing the finish line? What will I experience? So as we are taking action, I want to know, how am I going to feel? What is my life going to look like and be like when I am consistently taking action? And oftentimes I don't want to look so much at the outcome. I just want to have my plan and move forward, and so that I can also focus on something that brings me joy. Number 10, talk with your basic self. I think this is like super important. In Insight, we look at the person, and we kind of say we have kind of 3 different parts, or actually 4 different parts, I should say. We have the basic self, the conscious self, and the high self. The basic self is the part that's super important here, because it's the part that supplies us with energy. And the basic self is the part that we direct. And so we will say, hey, basic self, today is going to be the day we're going to start exercising. And sometimes we have to get the basic self on board, because the basic self might not feel like it, or is not used to it. And so we want to have a conversation with the basic self. And you can do this out loud, or you can do this internally. And the conscious self is the part that likes to look good. And so the conscious self is definitely going to be on board with, let's say, if you have a goal, exercising and losing weight. And the high self is the part of ourself that's kind of lovingly, like a parent in a sense, like observing the whole situation. Now, the inner child, which is not part of those 3 parts that I just talked about, it's kind of a separate part, but it's intertwined or interwoven with that. It's a composite of our memories. And the inner child sometimes can throw up big obstacles, and that she or he might not want to support us with taking action. And so then it's our job, just like we would parent our children, to get them on board. And we do it with love, we do it with appreciation, and we do it with generosity. Just think about when a child learns how to walk. First of all, we would never say to the child, you can't do it, you're going to fall, don't do it. We would never. All we ever do with our children, or with the child, is we clap them on, and we go, 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 you could do it, it's going to be awesome. We encourage them to get up again. So this is kind of how we want to talk to our basic self, and it's also how we want to talk to our inner child. If the inner child has some fears, if the inner child has specifically fear of failure, or worries, or concern, and if any of you feel those feelings around taking action, this is usually the part of ourselves that is connected to the inner child. And Mira talks a lot about it, how 88% of our reality is connected to unconscious, and that unconscious is definitely our inner child is definitely part of that. Okay, plan for the unseen. So what do I mean by that? There's always going to come a time where we don't feel like getting up, or we don't want to take action. I want to have a contingency plan, which means I've thought about it before. Okay, well, how am I going to be with myself when I don't want to, uh, exercise, or I don't want to do my affirmation, or I don't want to clean my office, or I don't want to cold call, or whatever it is that my action steps are. So if I have a contingency plan, then it will be easier for me to enroll myself to then actually take action. So, sometimes I get up in the morning and I don't feel like exercising. And my plan right now is to exercise 5 days a week. So I have 2 days where I can take a break. And so my goal is I exercise every day, and then when I have that day where I don't feel like exercising, or sometimes, I don't really get to it, then it's okay, because I have put this into my contingency plan. And but if it's a day where I plan to exercise, and it's my action step, and I don't feel like it, I talk to myself and I say, okay, so I'm giving you a choice. I'm not forcing you to do it, but I want you to think about how you're going to feel after you exercise, and how are you going to feel if you don't exercise and you don't keep your commitment. And then, most likely, because I like to feel good about myself and I like to keep my commitment, that will be enough for me to encourage me to do it. But you need to decide for yourself how you want to talk to yourself when that time comes. But you want to do it well in advance, because it's going to come. We're human beings. And I know we thrive for perfection, but perfection is not really something that's very real. We think it's real, but we want to strive for excellence. And because when we look at excellence, we can actually be more realistic with the outcomes. Okay, so let me give you 2 more tips. And one of them, we've talked a lot about it, and it goes kind of along the lines of the things I just mentioned. So when I am feel like I'm failing and I didn't keep my commitment, there needs to be a way that I can get myself back up. And the way that I do it is with forgiveness, because, like I said, there's nothing perfect, and we're always going to make mistakes, and there's always come the moment where I am not keeping my commitment. And then I want to really be loving and generous and forgiving with myself. So a lot of times what will happen is, and I know that I keep using the diet example, but it's a good example because I think a lot of us can relate to the diet and exercise. People say, oh, okay, well, I had chocolate this morning, so screw the day, I'm going to have chocolate for the rest of the day. And I'm going to say that's actually obviously not a good approach, because we just keep, creating more negativity for ourselves. And what you might want to do instead is say, okay, I had chocolate, I broke my commitment, and now I'm just going to move into forgiveness and forgive myself really, really, really deeply, and create a clean slate. Okay. And so then I don't have to feel worse about myself by eating more chocolate. I'm going to start fresh. I cleaned cleaned the plate, and I'm looking at this action step with new eyes, fresh eyes, and I can immediately get back on the horse and continue taking action steps, versus having this big, gap of not taking action steps for, I don't know, a day, a week, a year, 5 years. Last but not least, this is kind of a secret tip that I use. So if I am really feel stuck, and all the things that I suggested to you, none of them are working for me, what I will do is I will use muscle testing. And I know that, I think Mira has talked a little bit about muscle testing. I probably have talked a little bit about it. Muscle testing is a 2,000-year-old technique that comes to us from China, and it's based on the premise that if you are making a statement, or if you're checking in on something that's positive for you, that a muscle that you're testing is strong, and if you're making a statement or if you're thinking about something that's negative, then the muscle will be weak. Now, it's something that you need to practice, but it's super powerful because it's an immediate way for you to check in with yourself. So for some of you, you're going to get really excited about muscle testing. Some of you probably know about it already. Some of you, for you, you think it doesn't work. And of course, you know how it is. If you think it doesn't work, it's not going to work. But it's something that you can do with yourself. It's something that you can do on other people. And I have an app that I created that you can download on your iPhone or on Android that will guide you through the steps, and then it'll give you an opportunity to practice. But I find it super helpful because sometimes I just don't know, and the muscle test will connect to the 88%, and I'm stuck and I don't know. And so now I'm using muscle testing, and I can make some statements about myself, about what am I feeling, because I may not know why I'm stuck, and it'll give me some information. And then I usually suggest that you can do forgiveness. I forgive myself for whatever it is that I'm discovering about myself. And you can also do a little meditation and breathing, usually the 3 phases of the respiration, which is breathing in, holding your breath, and breathing out, will have a strong impact on your central nervous system. And so, muscle testing, it's not going to be for everybody, but I think it's a secret weapon of getting some access to your 88%. I know we're going to talk about it more tomorrow evening. I'm going to join Mira for the special mastermind class in the evening. So invite you all to come and check it out. Okay, so let's wrap up. I gave you 13 tips to stay in action and to have your momentum going. And if you just do half of them, or you practice and try half of them and see how it supports you in staying in action and keeping your momentum, you've done an excellent job. Now, I want to give you the homework. Can I? Do I have a moment to give you to give people the homework for today?
We have a question. Can you repeat, please, number 5 and 6, the tips, because some of them they say most probably they missed it out.
Yeah, sure. So number 5.
Yes.
Number 5 was to track your progress. I was talking about you can do it on paper. I think early on, Clementine, or maybe it was in the first morning community. You can create a piece of paper, and you can or you can do it with Excel, or you can use an app called Habit. Habit is a great app. It's very simple. It's free, and you can track your progress, because you won't remember. I think I remember, but I really don't know. If I don't track what I actually did, I can't. I won't have an accurate result. That was number 5. Number 6 was reward yourself for keeping your commitments. And that could be with positive words, with kindness. This could be, I'm buying myself a boat, or I'm going sailing with Offa, or I'm coming to Cyprus and we're sitting and having coffee. So I really want to do something to acknowledge myself and reward my hard work.
And there's someone asked if we can post all the 13 tips you gave in the group, and also there is a question about the app for the muscle testing. So if we can post them in the group.
Yes. So I'll give me a moment to write them all down, and then I will send them to Casimir. We can post it. And yes, we will. I can send you a link to the app as well. And like I said, just look at the ones that really appeal to you, because some of them will appeal to you more than others, and start with those. And every progress that we make, we want to clap ourselves on. Every time that we stop doing something that doesn't work, or we start to do something that does work, is a step in the right direction. And that's what we're after. We are after movement and moving forward.
Thank you, Barbara. So, should we go to gratitude?
Yes, in the homework after to post.
Do you need to give some explanation about the homework, or if we post will be enough?
No, I think I can just post it. So it's basically a combination of some of the action steps and the recommendations that and the tools. And I am going to invite you to practice this for a week and see how it worked for you.
Great. Do you want to share with us your gratitude, Barbara?
I'd love to. Thank you for asking me. Okay, so let's close our eyes, everybody, and let's take a deep breath in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. And one more time, breathe in and breathe out. My heart is filled with gratitude. I am grateful for my partner who worked so hard and did an incredible job celebrating my birthday. I am grateful to the weather, the sun, the stars, the moon. I'm grateful for my son who gives me so much love. I'm grateful to all the people that wished me happy birthday and, let me know in their way that I'm special. I'm grateful to my friends for celebrating with me. I'm grateful to my partner's family who has accepted me and with open arms and really been a family to me. I'm grateful to myself for my constant willingness to do all I can to be a better person. I'm grateful to Clementine and Casimir to bring us all together. I'm grateful to all the coaches who inspire me and allow me to be who I am and accept me for just the way I am. I'm grateful to my Creator for constantly supplying me with encouragement and strength. I'm grateful for the breath that fills us with love and inspiration. I'm grateful for all the possibilities that are available to me and for the opportunity to start anew each and every day. And I'm grateful to be alive. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
So thank you all, and we wish you a beautiful day. Thank you, Barbara, again, and see you
My pleasure.
tomorrow.
See you.
See you tomorrow,
See you tomorrow.
8 o'clock. Bye.
Bye-bye.